Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining me. I'm really glad to have you back with me once more. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the graph again. It's time for an update. Was I wrong about the graph? I was heavily criticized about it. In fact, when it went down to $1.24, I was completely destroyed online for having predicted a 1000% gain on this project. Of course, I was roundly mocked, but will I still be able to do a victory lap? Will I still have the last laugh? There is a saying in Wall Street, which is, what's the difference between being early and being wrong? Nothing. So I was early. Maybe I got it wrong when I called for that sort of pump in the price. But we're going to look at the news for the graph today and then look at the charts again and see what exactly is going on there. Because behind the scenes, loads of stuff's been happening, but the price has not moved, not really. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Well, if you want to find that out, you need to stick to the end of this video. Before we get started though, do me a big massive favor, could you please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course share it with your friends. We want people to know about the graph, we want people to know about cryptocurrencies, and YouTube are actively suppressing crypto content. So please do that as a massive favor, and of course a very quick warning. This is not financial advice. I am not telling you to go out and buy the graph. I am giving you my opinion on this project based on the research I've done and on the trading that I've done over the years. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. So clearly I was wrong about the price moving when I last spoke about this, but I don't think I'm wrong when I'm talking about the tech and the actual value that this project brings to the cryptocurrency space. If you want to find out what the graph is all about, then do check out the actual full review I did in the link just up here. And that will take you to that review. It gives you a good in-depth dive into the project and how it all works. As a quick reminder, here's what the graph is all about. The graph is effectively a decentralized indexing protocol which gets data from blockchains and makes that data available to people trying to create smart contracts. Now, each of those blockchains that we get the data from, in the project here, they're called subgraphs. I honestly believe that the graph is going to be a protocol that will be essential to cryptocurrency projects from now until the future. It's going to be like Chainlink, in my opinion. Everybody is going to end up using the graph, or maybe a project similar to it if any competitors really come up in the space. Whereas Chainlink is a protocol that brings in off-chain data from the real world as an Oracle service, what the graph does is it brings in data from inside of the blockchain space, from the blockchains themselves, and makes those available for smart contract use. Now, what's been happening with the graph since we last spoke? Well, in the last video, I explained that one of the biggest criticisms leveled at this project, and I believe it's a legitimate one, is that most of the big chains that they are providing subgraphs for were actually on hosted servers, which means that they're not actually decentralized. And I explained in that last video, the reason for this is, well, it's a new project. They are still developing the tech, and we have to give them a chance to kind of work through the iterations. Just like most projects in the space, they get built over time and become more and more decentralized as they go on. And that's the case with the graph. And to prove my point, the graph actually moved 10 of those subgraphs off of the hosted services this month and onto the decentralized network. Those 10 protocols included Gnosis, Dodo, and UMA. MStable's in there too. So we're not talking about really obscure projects. These are big, proper blockchains. Now, they did also add to the hosted services the testnet Moonbeam for Polkadot, as well as Cello. So another 2 big blockchains being brought on board, the testnets running on hosted services. And I think this must be the model that they're using. They bring in a new project, they run it on the actual hosted service as a test, then when everything's ready, it gets moved over to decentralized network, and that's when the actual indexers and curators can start making their money on the subgraphs available. Something else being talked about was the problem of fees. The project has to pay query fees to people. How can they do that without it being expensive, and how can they do it with scalability? They also revealed Scalar this month, which is actually their own state channel, which allows for cheap and fast transactions of those GRT query fees for all of the people involved in the processes on the actual graph protocol. Like I said in the previous video, the actual usage of the graph is massive. The amount of data queries being made to the network is phenomenal, and it is growing exponentially. We even had this tweet here from Unstoppable Domains talking about how they are actually using the graph to query NFT data. Everybody is starting to realize the value of using the graph, and they're starting to integrate it into their smart contracts. This real-world usage is what is going to make the graph a must-have token. Even Vitalik Buterin gave the graph a shout-out during this week's Ethereal 2021 event. So what did all that do for the price this month? Well, absolutely nothing. The price is still in that accumulation phase and ranging, and it hasn't broken out yet. What's going on? It should be an absolutely massive, massive project with so much money flowing into it that we should see prices of $20 probably by now for GRT, but we're stuck at $1.64 and it doesn't seem to be moving. So what's going on? I'm going to take you into the charts right now and show you what I think is happening with the chart, and then I'm going to give you my price prediction for this project moving forward, an updated price prediction based off of what's happened with the price so far. So let's jump onto the computer and go and take a look. So if we take a look at GRT on the macro view, let's take a look at it the 1 day time frame. Look, it's not rocket science to see that GRT has been in an extended accumulation phase. Now this one does feel like it's really dragged out. I mean, we're at, let's see, 86 days right now. I mean, that's a lot of accumulation, and the price is going to have to move at some point soon. Now, it could obviously go the wrong way, but I am still feeling very bullish on GRT. Now, you can see here where I thought we had that symmetrical triangle forming in the previous video. You can see there was the tightening of the range, and then there was a drop in volume as well, which all pointed to a breakout. But actually, instead of that, we had a breakdown, and luckily we found support at $1.37, but before bouncing up to move to resistance at $2. This created the top of the current triangle that we are in. Now that rejection actually resulted in a drop to $1.24, but that actually lined up with previous support. And so I feel like we have a decent support band now actually developed between $1.24 and $1.44. Now that has created a descending triangle in the charts here. Now just to explain, a descending triangle during a bear trend is actually a continuation pattern and that indicates further downside to a price. During a bull run, it's slightly different. Now you can get what's called a descending triangle reversal. However, the overall market for crypto does seem to be still bullish, and so therefore I am more inclined to believe that this would be an actual bullish descending triangle pattern. And as you can see, it comes at the end of a bullish flagpole. So I do believe that this indicates we're going to be heading to the upside from this pattern. But as I said, you have to be warned, it can of course be a descending triangle reversal. With that kind of caveat out of the way, of course, it does mean that, if you're the more cautious type of person, you might want to wait for the actual breakout before you trade this. Obviously, if you're brave, then you may buy at the next sort of entry point. With the declining volume, I am looking for a breakout above this triangle, taking us to the previous all-time high. Then a retest of the top of the triangle before bouncing to my price targets. Now, if we move to the 1 hour time frame, we can have a look at it in a bit more detail, and I'll give you those price targets. You can see we are actually currently trading on this bullish trend line, with this being a key resistance band between $1.67 and $1.78. With the stochastic RSI being in the overbought, now kind of crossing back into that normal, and the MACD ranging in the 0 line, the likelihood is that we'll actually find the price come back down to the trend line at $1.60. Now, for an aggressive trade, that could actually be a really good entry point, though I would definitely recommend putting in a stop loss below the triangle, and I would expect that careful money will wait for the breakout to be confirmed before actually going in on this trade. I certainly was aggressive with my trade last time, and yes, I did make a bit of profit, but it was nowhere near as much as I wanted, and by the looks of it, it could have definitely easily gone the other way. So a cautious trader might well wait for that breakout to confirm. From here, we have to break past $1.78 and $1.80, and I believe my first target is going to be the $2.10 resistance level. Then it will be $2.80, which is of course the sort of all-time high at the moment for GRT. Once we're past that, we're basically in price discovery mode, and I really believe that my third target is going to be $3.50 and then $5. I really want it to go a lot higher. I believe that $10 to $20 is still a possibility for GRT, but we have to make something really clear here. We can't afford for GRT to accumulate for another 85 days in this bull cycle. There just isn't time for it, guys. If we range for 85 days, we may find that GRT misses its opportunity to really break out and reach those 1000% gains that I was hoping for just a couple of weeks ago. Now, even if we only get to $5, that is a 200% gain on GRT, which I am not going to scoff at. If we wanted to get to that 1,000 though, guys, we need to see that breakout sooner than later if we're going to have any chance of sending this to the moon. It's going to be up to us to get GRT pumped up there and getting it off to the moon, guys. At the end of the day, the graph is a great project, and I think it's going to be essential to the actual blockchain infrastructure, as essential as Chainlink, which is why I think that long-term, GRT is going to be a massively popular coin and one with a very high price ceiling. Long-term, this one is a winner. Sometimes, though, I'm just not that patient. So, guys, let's send it. Let's send it to the moon right now. I'm not pumping the coin, of course, guys. I'm not. But I just think that this one has the potential. It just needs to move sooner than later. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit that notification bell. I'm going to be putting out, of course, more updates on GRT as well as reviews of other interesting projects. So please follow us, and also follow us over on Twitter as well at CryptoPigMedia. Have a great time, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!